I want Terry's job. I want to be down there and seeing everybody pumped and excited. But you know what? We got one more heat to go. Now in the hot seat, it is Mike Stewart and myself, Manny V. We're coming down to the wire here. The last heat of the day, the last heat of the Sintra Portugal Pro here in beautiful sunny Praia Grande. The wind has been in our favor, being cool and calm throughout the entire day. The waves, you know what? We'll take it 2 to 3 feet. Totally competitive conditions, and we've been saying it, and we're going to say it one more time before we start this last heat. The guys have been treated with awesome venues, awesome waves, heavy waves for the first half of the IBA World Tour, the Grand Slam Series, and now they have to compete in 2 to 3 foot beach break waves here at the Sintra Portugal Pro. On that, Stuart, what do you have to say?
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to be good in all conditions. We said it over and over today, but you want to be world title contender, you're going to have to do it in all conditions. So, yeah, you really got to do it. So this is going to be a crazy matchup here. You got Eder and Uri, and both these guys are really experienced, super competitive guys, both small wave wizards. And this is going to be a pretty heavy battle. I pay particular attention to the tactics that go down on here. Both these guys are pretty heavy tacticians when it comes to utilizing the priority system to their benefit. So, yeah, this is going to be quite a bit of pretty interesting heat if you watch just the little nuances that go on.
And that's right. I mean, both of these guys are talented small wave contest riders, but they also can tackle the heavy stuff. But here we are. The present time right now is the final in Praia Grande in these conditions. Eder Luciano versus Uri Valadao. In the water, you have currently in the red jersey, Eder Luciano, and in yellow, Uri Valadao. So these two guys are ready to go battle it out for the first place win here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. As you mentioned, Mike, both of these guys are capable of taking the win. They are contest machines, but they can also pull out the tactics. Give an example of tactics they may be using outside.
Oh, when you get priority, there's all kinds of things you can do with it. And you can also lose it, if you don't utilize it correctly. Like if you hold the guy off a wave for too many waves in a row, or hold a guy off a wave, they'll give it to the other guy. So you got to be careful how you do it. But you'll just see them move each other around and control the other opponent. Here we go, starting off.
All right, Mike, this is it.
This is it. Tide's dropped a little bit. Conditions are a little bit more rampable. I think you're going to see some pretty crazy flips if there's any flurries of waves.
Exactly.
You might get some lulls, but when those sets come, it's going to be on. These guys are going to be flipping all over the place.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we have finished off the finals in the women's division, where you saw Eunate Aguirre win over Mia Inouye from Japan. It is the Spaniard in the yellow jersey on your screen right there, Eunate Aguirre, who takes the win here in the women's division. And in the drop knee division, it was, yes, David Winchester beating out Aiden Cleve. So Aiden Cleve in second, and it was Dave Winchester in first in the drop knee division. And your winner there in the yellow jersey walking up the stairs was Eunate Aguirre from Spain. So now the final heat of the event coming down to the wire right here, a 30-minute final. In yellow, Uri Valadao, the backflip specialist, the ARS specialist, going against Eder Luciano, the tall, powerful rider. Here we go. Starting off, it is in yellow, Uri Valadao.
Yep. Just trying to pack it in, quick spins, real tight. If you watch, he gets his body really tight and gets that center of gravity as tight as he can make it to get that spin speed up. Just both these guys have super tight spins, and that's just like from riding small waves and trying to get that scale. Here's Eder's up, trying to hold, looking for a little lip section. Doesn't really happen, so he just straight into a spin. And yeah, well, it might have a little section. No, still pretty full. Kind of average size waves, but they're just, you just see them kind of staying up high right where that whitewater is. Oh, there's a little section. You can kind of roll off of that. But they're just going to try to stay where that power is the whole time. And try to ride flat too. You can't ride with too much rail. You're going to lose too much speed unless you just have sometimes you get a little burst of speed. You can put your rail on it and carve a turn or something. But otherwise, man, you got to ride pretty flat when the waves are like this.
All right, that was it. First two waves have been dropped for the two riders, the two Brazilians. It is all Brazil final here in Portugal. So if you are from Brazil and you are watching live from Brazil, let us know. Either messages at IBAWorldTour.com or better yet on our Facebook message board right below our IBAWorldTour.com live feed. And if you're watching from Red Bull TV, give us a shout out. Just yell at your screen, Viva Brazil, or I don't know, what do they say in Brazil?
That sounds good to me.
All right, because Brazil has dominated here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. They have two competitors battling it out in the final in the men's division. The first two scores have been dropped. What do we got?
Okay, well those are decent starting scores, for the size waves that they are. Those weren't set waves, or didn't seem like set waves. So those are all the Brazilians on the beach, super amped. So they're pretty stoked.
It's going to be a party tonight.
Brazilian. Oh yeah. So Eder got the better of that exchange, and it's kind of interesting right at the beginning. They're kind of like. It was interesting to see how they because there was no priority to start the heat, and they just kind of like both started to go, and it looked like there might be some little confusion right at the beginning, maybe some interferences right at the beginning, but that didn't happen. They just kind of like, okay, you went that way, I'm going this way, and Eder kind of came out with the better end of that exchange. Uri got the first wave and didn't really do much. Eder's went a little bit further, had a little roll section on the end, so. That little extra distance of Eder got a 6.0 and Uri's at a 4.75. So Eder's got a little bit of an advantage on him, and we'll see. If the C cooperates and we get a couple more sets, you'll see these scores will probably be dropped.
Well, it's no surprise that these two guys are here and up and riding right now. This is in yellow, Uri Valadao. Quick, tight spins. I mean, you see their style from Brazil. They actually almost get up on their quads or they're almost on their knees doing these tight spins, and here they are coming into the inside. Uri Valadao, two rolls, spins all the way into the inside, and he might make it all the way to the shore break.
Yeah, I think the tie's low enough now. They'll probably connect it. He's going to connect this, and you might even watch for a flip here.
Oh man,
he might try to do a flip, which is good. He got a spin in. Oh no, that inside section just didn't do anything.
So that was the first wave we've seen caught all the way to the inside for the past few heats. So we might see it again all throughout the heat.
Yeah, we saw Omri just pull one in that semi, and that's it. Yeah, like you said, I think the tide's just starting to get low enough now. So, yeah, I think you'll probably see more of that. And it'll be interesting to see what they can do right on that shore break. That's a fast, right on the beach, it just slams on the beach real fast, and it happens really quick. Uri Valadao drops an 8.25, which is a really strong score. That's going to be hard to match. But at this level, Eder, he's totally capable. Don't be surprised if you see big flips out the back. These guys are capable of some crazy things. So if a set comes, keep your eyes glued to the screen because you're going to see some quick action.
I'm going to have to agree with Mateus Rodriguez, who just posted something on our Facebook message board. This is definitely a classic heat right here. Two Brazilians, two contest machines, Uri Valadao and Eder Luciano. Now, 24 minutes remaining in this heat. Uri Valadao, plenty of time. Eder Luciano, plenty of time. Take us through this replay.
Okay, well, you got a pretty good roll out the back, and then a little bit of a power pot. Clean face right there, and he starts packing in the spins. So you see, he does like a little turn right before those spins and gets a little spray thrown out, like little reverses. And these are just tight reverses that he'll do. And right into a roll there. Tricky conditions, super flat, super hard to get up. It might look real easy, but that's hard. It's hard to do that.
And we talked about it before, and we'll say it again. The small wave skills you need to have in your quiver of moves. I was talking to Dallas Singer yesterday, and Dallas was saying, you know what, when I free surf, I really don't do any rolls. But now coming to situations where you almost have to do a roll on demand, and you're not practicing them in these conditions, you're already behind the 8 ball. So these guys, the Brazilians out in the water right now, Uri Valadao and Eder Luciano, they practice in this stuff all year round.
Yeah, this is like their home conditions. This wouldn't be too dissimilar from their home break. They'd be real accustomed to this type of surf. I'd say the water temperature might be different, but as far as the wave, the power of the wave, how the wave breaks, it would be real similar to some of the stuff that they surf a lot back home. And so
Well,
now, yeah, I mean, for Eder, he's just gotta, just kind of keep calm, keep his composure, just relax. I mean, it's really hard not to be nervous and not to, he kind of fidgeting out there a little bit, adjusting his hair. Everything's, he's trying to calm himself down and just kind of like settle in. But, when you're a competitor at this level and the guy gets a really big score, it's pretty unsettling. So,
I wonder what's going on in here in this. It looks like the competitors area.
you got Ben Player down there writing some signatures.
Wait a second, how'd those kids get in there? I don't see any wristbands or.
Grommets have ways.
Yeah, the Groms figured it out here in Portugal.
Found a loophole.
They got to know somebody. Somebody's dad knows something. So here they are sneaking into the competitors area, and Ben Player, without any hesitation, giving autographs to the boys.
Yeah, everyone's super cool. Like all the guys are super approachable, really nice guys. Well, it looks like Eder's looking at this wave. He elected not to go. Probably a smart move. It doesn't look like one of the bigger waves that's come in the last 30 minutes or so. But again, even with these guys, I can see the tide playing tricks on them. If they're not really adapting to the conditions here, they're going to get caught. So, what looked like good waves in a particular spot previously might not even be the case now. So as the tide drops and the waves moves on different parts of the sandbar, it's all over the place.
Once again, welcome everybody. Manny V coming to you live with Mike Stewart here in the final heat of the day. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to IBAWorldTour.com and Red Bull TV, and especially to my friends who have tuned in from all over the world, including Luis Rivera in Florida. The whole crew in Florida is watching, and I'm sure, Mike, you got some friends you want to shout out to?
Yeah, anyone watching? How's it going? What's up? Yeah. From Hawaii. How's it?
So yes, Hawaii now. I think it is about 4 in the morning. So if you're watching from Hawaii, shout out for waking up that early to tune in. And we are winding down the last heat of the day here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. 20 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. It is Uri Valadao versus Eder Luciano, the Brazilian versus the Brazilian here in a classic heat. The two contest machines, but it is Uri Valadao in the yellow jersey leading the charge with two solid waves, a 4.75 and an 8.25. Eder Luciano is sitting on only one wave, 6.0. So he needs that one other solid second wave.
So you can see him waving his hand right now, trying to get the exact details so he can kind of figure everything out. Because, at this point, you got to be pretty smart how you play out things, He's trying to stay calm, but, that's a tough position to be in. This being, behind the 8 ball with Uri just getting that score, in these conditions, it's like, okay, this guy, he knows he's got to come up with something big, so let's see what he can do.
All right, the Extreme Bodyboard crew are also watching, and Metamod Bodyboard Shop, Alexander Lopez, thanks for tuning in. We know you got a big posse watching in the shop. So here we are, 19 minutes remaining in this last heat of the event here in Sintra.
Okay, looks like a little bump. Up, Uri up and going. Little quick spin, another spin. Just looking for that vertical section. Whoa.
How in the heck does he do that in that wave in these conditions?
Yeah, that's tricky. That's
unbelievable.
tough.
This guy can do flips and tricks on any wave, and you just saw it there. You witnessed it live here in Portugal. So
like
check it out. Walk us through it.
So, in these kind of waves, you basically want to pack it in. And so anytime there's a flat section or a little lull in the action, you can throw in a spinner. But this was a pretty good little section. And you can see, man, he just manhandled that thing around and got it.
Yeah, he did.
So, not the thickest lip or the hollowest wave, but, man, he did it.
Well, why don't we take a look at some of the riders right now, and let's talk about the power, the height, the weight of the rider, and what they have to do to adjust here in these situations, in this condition. So, Uri Valadao.
Yeah, Uri's he's a lot shorter. He's not a short guy, but he's shorter than Eder. Eder's super tall, so he's shorter and he weighs less, I'm sure. than Eder. So that's going to be a big advantage in this, you know. Any sort of physical trait. Oh, and there's Eder up, I believe.
All right,
Whoa.
holding on.
Okay, that was we'll get a replay of that shortly, but he just pulled a roll, arse, another roll on a looks like a pretty good section, another spin. So he's packing this one in, and that was what I was talking about as far as like, okay, here's going to be a winning wave coming in. He's going to beach this for sure. Oh, no, not quite. So he hit the little deep section right by the beach there. And he's kind of this wave kind of broke a little bit to the north of some of the other waves. So it was good that he adapted to that spot and was able to catch that wave.
All right, let's take another look right now to the size and weight of Eder Luciano.
So you can see here, Eder's, you know, he's quite a bit taller and heavier. He's another 10 kgs heavier than Uri.
So now that the obvious height weight advantage is in Uri's corner, what does Eder Luciano do to get to that same level?
Okay, well, he has to totally take advantage of his size in these conditions. And, you know, he'll probably have longer arms, so he can extend the rolls and his moves longer, further. And really, he's just going to have to apply his weight and leverage that he can have on the bigger waves. I mean, that's going to be his advantage. They can both flip on just about any size wave. Uri probably has you saw in that last one, that little wave of Uri flipping on that was impossible. But somehow he does it, you know. And not only because it was real small, but, man, it was so flat. It's like, you know, it's so flat and gutless. It's like, you know, how the heck? So, and, you know, Eder's got quite a bit bigger board as well. You know, that extra buoyancy really helps. So between that extra buoyancy and his leverage, he gets a pretty good projection and is able to do some pretty amazing things in small surf.
It looks like the
Brazilian
crew is growing by the minute down on the beach, waiting on the water's edge. And you know what? They got the Brazilian flag. And
yeah, they want a Brazilian to win, I guess.
And guess what? I promised them that a Brazilian will win this final here in the last 15 minutes in this heat. This is the last heat here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. Again, we are looking at 2 to 3 foot conditions. Mother Nature was kind to us and did not bring those north prevailing winds to us today. So in exchange, we have to deal with 2 to 3 foot waves.
Okay, so last wave of Uri was a 7.5. Last wave of Eder, 6.6. So now Eder's got his work cut out for him.
Eder now is chasing a 9.15. That is that possible?
Gosh. That's possible. It's possible this guy, he could do like 3 big flips. You know, flip on the outside, flip midway, and another one right on the beach or something, but that's a lot to ask in these conditions. So it looks like he's going to have to start trying to better his 6.6. You know, it's probably going to take him 2 waves, but you know, he can easily get a wave in the 7 to 8 category, like Uri did, and then build from there. You know, you just can't. You know, the good competitors just don't give up. You know, no matter what, they're just going to go out and keep fighting, and keep scratching and clawing their way to try to do whatever they can to get back into contention.
There was a story going around where Guilherme Tamega, another fierce Brazilian competitor, was out in El Gringo during one of his heats, and the competitor went to go shake his hand, even though there was less than a minute remaining in the heat, and Guilherme did not shake his hand. There was still time in the water. Up and riding. This is Eder Luciano.
Okay.
There it is. There's that.
Went in for a flip. Oh, quick flip, a quick in and out flip.
Are the judges going to count that as a completed maneuver?
I would say so. I mean, he got out of the white water. It wasn't as clean and as fast and as tight as that he's able to do, but okay, you can kind of see that board flexing under Uri too. That's interesting.
Uri looking at that one, but decides not to go and paddles back out to the outside and to wait for a bigger, better wave. So Uri Valadao, he's looking pretty good, but he should not put his guard down.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, he's got to look at a wave that's going to be better than a 7.5. So that one didn't look anything, you know, like the other ones he had. You know, it's a smart move not to go on it. That's hard at this stage to just be that selective sometimes when the waves are like this, but you know, it probably even plays more of a role now. So you really got to be on your game as far as catching the right waves.
Well, Uri Valadao back in 2006, 2005 actually won this event back to back, and he would love to do that again here in 2011. Last year he ended up in ninth place, and also in 2009 he ended up in ninth place. So here he is, either going to walk away with a win or second place, and he will be happy with either one. But knowing these two guys, they both are hungry for that first place spot.
So you can see here, you know, Eder, I'm pretty sure Uri has priority here, but Eder's going to sit real close to him, and you know, he'll put kind of make Uri know that he's right there, and put some pressure on him, and make him start thinking about something other than catching the waves and doing the flips. So it's kind of a tactic I think that, you know, he'll use against Uri to try to like kind of startle him or get him off his game, hopefully.
Do you think they're talking to each other as they're sitting on the outside?
You know, I seriously doubt it. You know, if anything, you know, they might mumble something and just kind of
paddle away,
or just mumble something to kind of, you know, get the other guy off his.
Yeah, look at that. They're not even looking at each other.
Yeah, right now they're just like, you know, Eder's like, okay, well, I need a wave. You know, enough of these games.
That was Eder looking over his shoulder to see how far away Uri is from him. I wonder if they're talking about bacalao.
probably not talking about bacalao, but
all right,
you never know. You
right.
never know.
Can you tell what I'm going to have for dinner tonight?
Bacalao.
You know it. All right, the Brazilians taking a look at this yellow and red.
Okay, so Eder, okay, that's interesting. He gave that to Eder. So that was pretty good. That was a good flip for, gosh, his frame is so big. So here we go, look. Like I was saying, you know, if he can find another flip in the middle here, he could be doing pretty good.
Looks like a little wedger.
Yeah, he's trying to find a little power pocket here. But this wave looks like it might hit the deep spot. I don't know. He's going to kick his way in here. Yep. But that was pretty good. I mean, shucks, to do that kind of, that maneuver on that wave is pretty tricky. Like, I don't know how to do it.
So Eder Luciano logging in his fifth wave, and we're going to wait for the judges to type in their scores. But Eder is chasing a 9.15 on his next wave, but he can also improve his 6.0. So I don't know, Eder's got his work cut out for him. There's only 10 minutes remaining in this heat, and we're looking at some of the Brazilians having fun with the Brazilian flag. And with the dreads, that is Elmo. Elmo is probably one of the coolest.
Yeah, he's a passionate bodyboarder.
Yeah.
There you go, 7.35. That was a great wave for Eder. Kind of notice the difference in that flip is he started off with a good bottom turn, and that bottom turn led and projected him right into the move. So that was the difference between that one and the other one, where he hit it a little bit more flat and it wasn't quite as critical on the wave. Like he utilized the energy of the wave and pushed against it a lot better, I think, on that wave. So he's right in the race now. So he's got now he's got like a fully attainable score to get.
Well, with the tide dropping, you're going to see a lot more moves, lip maneuvers from these guys. And right now, Uri Valadao, he's looking good. 15.75 is what Eder Luciano is
like
chasing after, and 8.4 is what Eder Luciano needs on his next wave to take that first place spot away from Uri Valadao. So thanks again for tuning in. Manny V and Mike Stewart, the living legend, bringing you the live action as time winds down in the last heat here at the Sintra Portugal Pro. And yes, congratulations to Eunate Aguirre, who wins the women's division, and to Dave Winchester, who won the drop knee division earlier today. This is it right here, the last heat of the competition. Uri Valadao versus Eder Luciano, the Brazilians going head to head.
Pretty intense. I mean, going back to Winnie, I mean, he almost, you know, was in both finals, that would have been quite a feat. Imagine that, winning both events.
Oh, it was totally possible. I think last year the Zicatela Pro was not sanctioned by the Grand Slam Series, but Dave Hubbard actually walked away with a win in both of those heats.
He's done that a couple times, huh?
Yeah.
In a few events.
Winnie can totally do it. Dave Hubbard, those two guys are some of the most versatile freaks in the bodyboarding arena, community, whatever you want to call it. These bodyboarders, Dave Winchester and David Hubbard, definitely some of the most versatile.
Well, we're grinding down the heat. There's about 8 minutes left, and Eder needs a big score. He needs, what does he need? An 8.4.
8.4 on his next wave, or a combination of two waves, bettering the 15.75 of Uri Valadao. So Uri looking really comfortable right now, but again cannot let his guard down because Eder Luciano can come back with these conditions changing by the minute and totally pull off an 8.4 ride on his next wave. So Uri, better be careful.
Yeah, Eder
up and riding, it
Oh,
looks
no.
like
In and
no. All right, looks like today will be the end of the day or end of the competition for the Sintra Portugal Pro, and some celebration will be going down tonight. And I thought I was going to see you at the bar for a beer last night.
No, I mean, I was there for a little bit, but I just got too wiped out. I was too tired.
All right.
But we'll be there tonight.
Yeah, tonight will be a fun night here.
We got it raging over there at that science tent.
Oh,
we got
yeah.
a DJ and everything over there. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, if you, I don't know if you can see, but behind the Brazilian support crew, there is a wall and our scaffolding. And if you look to the left, there are tents set up. And Mike, you had front row center, probably the best tent area that you can get here in this area. And you had a DJ in your booth. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they were mixing it. Okay, this is, I think Eder up. Oh, no, looking at that one, but electing not to go. Okay, so now you get to that kind of critical, close to the 5-minute mark where it's like, okay, he's losing his opportunity for 2 waves now. It's going to have to be probably 1 wave. I mean, you could probably still squeeze 2 waves in there, but just how long you typically wait on average and how long it takes to paddle back out, you're going to have to do it in 1 wave now. So he's now looking for probably that 8.4, which is going to be 1 wave. And so the pressure cooker is starting to cook right now for Eder.
Well, Uri Valadao currently has the priority in his pocket, so will he use that? Will he use the priority ticket against Eder? We will see in the last 5 minutes. And Eder taking a look. He seems to be a little anxious now, trying to figure out if he can pull off that 8.4 ride. Now, he knows Uri Valadao is in priority. He has that priority, and he knows that Uri will not just give him any wave, not a good wave. So you can see Eder paddling away from Uri, knowing that exact situation.
Yeah, so gosh, you know, this is so different than where we were. You know, this is almost the exact opposite, if you can imagine. I mean, we were surfing 10-foot warm water pits.
All right, looks like we have a little clip from Mexico. The difference between what the professionals have to do from big waves. Jeff Hubbard's win. He is a big wave rider and a small wave specialist. And these guys are now here in 2 to 3 foot waves and right out the back.
Yeah, that's a contrast. Just seeing that image to this image. There's 1 roll. Let's see what he can do on this. 2 rolls. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, so he tried to extend a little bit too far. One of the risks you take on that is, you know, your board might land further toward the beach than your body, and if it doesn't have that much power, it's not going to push you in, and that's what happened. He got stuck behind the wave. But yeah, you could just see that last contrast. Oh, yeah, Eder's going to have to wait.
Yeah,
looks like a pretty good, maybe a good one coming in here though for Eder. He might have a pretty good score on this. Let's see.
All right, Eder turning around,
might be lining
taking
up
a look
for
at this one.
So spin. Okay, he's going to try to just pack it in. Oh, it looks like it's gone a little bit flat. It looks like it might be sectioned up here for a little bit. No, it cuts out.
Uh-oh.
So that, you know, that would have got me. You know, that I would have gone on that and probably done something similar. But, you know, he needed a big score, and that wasn't it. So now he's in the full-on pressure mode because he's only got a few minutes. He doesn't have priority, and he needs a huge score. He needs the biggest score of the heat so far. So it's going to be a real challenge for Eder, and he knows it. I mean, you know, he knows what the challenge is in front of him. Not that he's not capable of doing it, but it's like, man, this is where you got to reach really deep to try to, like, okay, you know, how bad do you want this thing, you know?
Would it be premature for Uri Valadao to be smiling out there right now, knowing the situation that's occurring in this heat?
I wouldn't be smiling until that hooter went, and I knew no one got away around that hooter, and that the score was locked in, and they said, okay, you win.
Here is the situation. We have 3 minutes remaining in this final. It is Uri Valadao leading the charge with 15.75 to Eder Luciano, 13.95. Uri Valadao, 2 solid waves. It is Eder Luciano now chasing an 8.4. Again, nothing is final until that last horn is rung, and there are 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this heat. Eder Luciano, he does not have priority. It is Uri Valadao that has priority. So it looks like Eder's trying to distance himself a little bit from Uri, just in case a good wave comes. He won't have to give it to Uri, who will probably want to take it from him.
Yeah, Uri is actually, I saw some kind of body language from Uri that just was like kind of excited, because I think he's looking out there. It doesn't look like there's much. Might actually something kind of coming in towards the north here.
Uh-oh.
And we'll see.
Look at it. He's starting to kick a little bit
try
harder.
To get over there
He sees something. Now he's digging. He sees it. It's coming right
oh,
here.
It's a good wave.
And Mike, look at this. Talk us through it. What's he going to do?
Oh, he held him off. So that might, we'll see what happens with the priority, but this will be interesting. Because if he held him off, I can't say. I'll let the judges determine if Uri paddled, but it didn't look like it. It didn't look like Uri paddled. That was just a tactical move by Uri.
Unreal. So you got the 2 Brazilians here. We're waiting down to the last minute and a half, and it's the Brazilians with their tactics going on out in the water, and they are coming from the same country as one of the most fiercest competitors in the world, Guilherme Temega.
Yeah, that nuts win in Chile just recently.
Yeah, so back in, I believe it was May.
Heavy.
It was the Arica Chilean Challenge, where fellow Brazilian Guilherme Temega put everything on the line.
This was the wave right there where, and if you see it, just goes right up on the rocks. That was the one that just kind of like, okay, I'm putting my stamp on this right now, and I'm letting everyone know that I want this thing more than anyone. And it showed he took that event out in fine fashion.
So the Brazilians' very own Guilherme Temega holding it steady for the Brazilians. And now these 2 guys, Uri Valadao and Eder Luciano, not letting down the Brazilians here in these conditions. Both Brazilians now winding down the last minute.
And I think at this point, Uri is just going to sit on him, because there's probably no opportunity to. So I think where Eder might have blown it is if he just went straight, he would have made Uri paddle for that, and then he could have cut out, and then at least had priority now. But not that it's going to do any good unless there's a set, but it would at least swept it around. But here we go. This is it. It looks like Uri is taking it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have finished the competition here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. The 2 Brazilians are congratulating each other for making it to the final, but it is Uri Valadao, the backflip master, the small wave specialist, the contest machine out there just splashing. He is amped. He is stoked. We're going to get him on a jet ski and get him to the beach ASAP so we can interview him, hand over the trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Uri Valadao beating Eder Luciano in the final here in the Sintra Portugal Pro. Mike Stewart, your words.
Awesome. I mean, that was a pretty amazing display of tactics and small wave riding. What can you say? That's a really difficult technical stuff to do in those kinds of conditions. And we're going to be studying. The guys will be studying those moves.
And I guarantee you, a lot of these guys are going to start practicing in some of the small conditions because, you know what, we've been very blessed in the beginning of this Grand Slam series with heavy waves and heavy conditions, and the guys have absolutely been on fire this first half of the Grand Slam series. But now, once they set foot in Portugal, they have to deal with something completely different, and that is beach break waves, 2 to 3 foot.
Funk.
So to be a world champ.
And Uri's stoked. It's been a while since he's been in this position, so he's amped. And both these guys, we talk about them surfing small waves and being such good small wave rippers, but hey, both of them have really adapted to bigger surf, and they've improved their skills in bigger waves. And I mean, shoot, Eder beat me yesterday in like pretty sizable waves. And I mean, they're both really good wave riders. And although they're known really for small waves, they both actually rip hard in big waves. I mean, Eder gave me a run at pipe. It's like, Uri surfs. I've seen him rip Shark Island. It's like so they. Well, a lot of guys have tried to adapt to surf small waves. These guys are great small wave riders who are adapting to surf big waves. And the guy that does that first is probably going to be dominant. You know.
Yep.
That can do both conditions.
So congratulations to this guy right here from Brazil, Uri Valadao, who just beat out his fellow Brazilian, Eder Luciano, here in the last heat of the day, here in the Sintra Portugal Pro, live here in Praia Grande. Yes, the conditions were not on the grand scale, but the competition was. We saw tactics. We saw big moves. We saw the moves that I never even thought were possible on these waves.
Yeah, I know.
But these guys made it happen. And it is Uri Valadao, your winner in the men's division. And Eunate Aguirre from Spain winning the female division. And Dave Winchester in the drop knee division beating out Aiden Cleve from South Africa. So big shout out to also the other female finalists, Mia Inoue from Japan. So your finalists today have actually gave you a great performance, tons of action. So you guys stand by. We are not done yet. We're going to get down, get some interviews, and show some of the celebration. Mike Stewart, I'm excited.
Yeah, this is cool. It's really cool to see you guys win. You know, you put your whole life on hold and just dedicate it towards competitive success. And when you reach that goal, man, it just is, the feeling is unmatched. You just cannot compare it to anything.
There he is, Uri Valadao and Terry McKenna downstairs. Terry, where you at, bro?
So happy. Muito feliz.
Yeah, muy contento.
Muito contento.
What, say something to the people in Brazil.
Porra, obrigado a todos vocês. Estou realizando mais uma vez o sonho aqui de ganhar em Portugal. Esse lugar aqui para mim é o mais especial de todos. Foi aqui que eu primeiro consegui meus primeiros resultados importantes e, pô, mais uma vez, obrigado, senhor. Obrigado, galera, valeu. Beijão para todos.
Okay. Okay, we have Lino Ramos from, of course, the Sintra Tourism Department. Let's get him over here to hand the trophy. Hand it over. Let's get a shot of that. That is our champion, ladies and gentlemen, for 2011. Give it up for Uri Valadao from Brazil. Okay, well, I tell you what a fantastic, what a great week it's been here, Manny. We're going to be doing this all again in Reunion Island real soon, folks. Manny Vargas, it's back to you. Pow!